have Carl on last week?
Coming to you live on the Government Access Channel from Mario Bagnoni Chambers in beautiful downtown Erie. It's the Taxpayers Hotline Show with your hosts, Kaz Kwiatkowski and John Steiner.
Whoa, color looks terrible.
Look at that. Oh, there we go. That looks a little bit better.
Looked like Halloween there for a while.
Yeah, it did. It looked like we were in like a horror movie for a second there. What's up, stranger?
Attack of the
Omnicolor. There we go. Get a little focus.
I'm good. How about you?
Pretty good. It's been a couple weeks. We've been off and on. We got
we had
stuff going on and all kinds of family issues and.
Oh, we're back though.
Hey,
just so everybody knows we're back though. Maybe they won't.
Yeah, right. I mean, hopefully they do, because we don't want to be up here talking all day and just rambling on. But it's so nice outside today. How can you not have a taxpayer hotline show today?
That's true. It is nice out.
That's beautiful.
Something happened.
Yeah, somebody flipped the switch, but I think that they flipped the switch back tomorrow. See, I think we're having more color problems. Looks like over there.
Let's see. Yeah, it's not too great.
That's all right. Makes us look better. Okay? So, the blurrier the picture, the better we look, Kaz.
What did they say? We have faces that be good on radio?
That's right. That's right. Kaz, since the last time you and I sat in these chairs, the world is a completely different place. We have coronavirus, we have epidemics running around. Everyone's 401ks have bottomed out.
Yeah, today the market was down again. If you have to retire on your 401, it's not a good time right now.
The market was so bad today, it was losing so many points, going so fast. They had to take a 15-minute timeout.
Yeah, that's what they call they have some tools in effect that.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they do that to stem the flow
of just deduction, stem the flow of loss. I mean, that's bad when you got to take a time out.
Well, what they're doing is they're trying to let everybody have a cooling off period, hopefully.
Yeah, right. See, my stock portfolio isn't what it should be, so.
Well, it won't be after this.
No, I mean, not that it was, there's hardly anything next to nothing.
The only thing I would, if you were in conservative, like if you were older and you went back to a conservative approach, where you weren't so much in equity,
yeah,
you might have a chance to survive this a little bit.
Yeah.
If you have some stable bonds, but even now the bonds are being turned upside down. But
yeah, I mean, it's like how do we go from just a financial bliss to just the bottom, just completely?
Well, this is what happens when China is a major. No, people don't want to admit this, but China is a major player.
Yeah.
And when you can't ship goods there, or many of our people are finding, are we off the air?
I have no idea. Or maybe it's just that TV.
Many people are finding out I was watching on the news the other night, like some local vendors, they're short of merchandise and it's quickening. In other words, they can't get them from their source in Asia. Right. Mainly China, so.
Right.
A lot of things that we kind of laugh at, like party gifts and stuff like that, but if you're in that business and all of a sudden, your source is out.
Well, I mean, our entire economy is pretty much woven in with China.
Well, think about look where most of the Nike and all that stuff is made: Vietnam, China.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, if you think about it,
and then we sell there too. So I mean, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So if you combine the oil mess today, that.
Yeah, with the bottom falling out on that, and you got consumers.
This is why no politician, I'm looking right at our president, if you're going to take the credit for everything,
yeah, you got to. Yeah.
You got to take the blame too.
No, he won't.
You can't play both ends. This is why the market is much more complicated than any, one person taking credit or blame for it.
Yeah. I mean, but when you have this whole situation in China, they're not creating products. On top, the products that they do create, we can't take them.
Yeah.
And then the people aren't spending the money like they were, so
it just keeps getting worse and worse.
There's nobody purchasing anything, so consumer and
And then you figure this, John,
manufacturing have both come to a complete halt.
they showed the port of Long Beach and a couple others.
Uh-huh.
They're like empty. So that means
Yeah,
if you don't have ships coming in, your longshoremen aren't working.
yeah, I mean, a third of Italy is on quarantine right now.
And your longshoremen don't work where they can't go shopping.
Yeah, I mean, it completely, it's a domino effect.
Yeah, the old days about being isolated, that's gone out the window. When you brought up Italy, it was weird. I was watching a ski race the other day,
Yeah.
across country, and I said, Jesus. And I didn't watch it from the start, so there was no cheering. Guys come across the line, usually they're cheering.
Yeah.
Same thing with the biathlon. You hear them going.
Oh, right,
They're
right.
cheering every time they take a shot.
Yeah, right.
It's quiet as a church mouse.
Right.
Then I see it. There's nobody in the stands, and they announce that, well, this is a result of the shutdown in Italy.
Right. I mean, I don't, in my 50+ years of life, I don't ever recall anything like this happening.
I do, but it wasn't as bad. When we were young, and I got a few years on you. There was a time when we had, I remember the Asian flu. That was the one I remember.
The bird flu.
Well, long before you.
Oh,
And well, there was the swine flu too for a while. That was a bad one.
yeah.
But the Asian flu, when I was a kid, if you got sick, they put a sign on your house, on your door. You were quarantined. That's so the milkman and the mailman knew,
Right.
keep deliveries outside the door, like.
Uh-huh.
And then once you got cleared, you didn't go right back to school until you got cleared.
Yeah, right.
So we have been here before, but over the years we got better at it. We had better vaccines,
Right.
but it's not that this was never done before. Just not in most people that are around today don't remember it. You have to be my age or older to remember that.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember in my life, nobody's leaving the country. No one's allowed in the country. Do not get on
And you know what
cruise
that's do-
ships.
you know what that's do to
Cruise
you?
ships are like,
John, when I was a young man, you didn't have transcontinental flights as much as you do today.
yeah,
People usually took a boat, okay?
yeah,
Airplanes were kind of novel back then, the air transportation industry.
right,
It's not like it is today, but today you got cruise ships, you got people all over the place.
right,
People can cross borders easily.
right. I mean, it's easily I don't, not to be a conspiracy theorist, but it seemed like the whole timing of this virus that originated in China just happens to take place right at the time where they're having unprecedented gatherings and marches against the Chinese government.
That could be. You never know, John.
It's kind of like, is it possible that they sprung it on those people?
I guess anything's possible in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't mean to be, I'm no doctor, I'm usually not even a conspiracy theorist, but I always pay attention to the timing of things,
Yeah.
and the timing of this is kind of like, it's questionable to me, because there were months of just protests and hundreds of thousands of people in China up against, against their government. And it would be really, hopefully in the future it doesn't come out that in order for the Chinese government to keep their people back, that they decided to use this. But honestly, I wouldn't put it past them. Look at some of these other governments. Look at the Syrian president. You know what I mean? Was it, what did he put on his people? Remember, we got all mad? Syrian? And then,
Sarin gas.
yeah, he was gassing his people to keep them in line. I mean, you just never know with China. They don't play around over there, and we really don't get I don't believe any word that comes out of China, and they're just like South Korea or North Korea. I mean, you don't know what's going on there, but it's dangerous, and it's had a serious effect on the markets too. I don't think there's been any tests or any positive cases here in Erie, has there?
Not that we know of, but it's in Pennsylvania now, so.
Yeah, there was,
it'll be a matter of time.
yeah. I mean, it's basically just affects the elderly people as far as, it's deadly for the elderly people that are already, that are, their immune systems aren't, able to fight as well as younger people. So, the phones are open, 870-1284.
Anything local bothers you?
Yeah,
What?
did we apply for a grant? We're trying to get some program together on the east side there, and we can't get the funding from the feds or something. What's going on with that, do you know?
No, nobody tells us anything down here.
Not at the city council meeting?
Well, I'm not at the council, so, I mean,
I thought doesn't the treasurer attend city council meetings?
when they can.
Oh, no, the controller does.
Yeah, well, I did attend the last one, but
Oh, did you?
until I get things, nice and comfortable over there,
Yeah.
I'll come here when I get a chance, but
How's it going at the treasurer's
it's going
office?
good. I got a good staff though.
Yeah, you got the same crew, you kept all the same people and
Yep,
everything?
and they're good.
And what's that kid's name that works over there with you?
Oh, you mean my deputy?
Yeah.
Ed Williams.
Ed Williams, yeah. Yeah, he's good.
Oh, he's top shelf.
Yeah, and when Sue was over there, he was good too. Well, that's good. I mean, better be good over there. They need money.
It's just getting me up to speed now,
Yeah, you're the problem.
Yeah, you can say that, but no, it's not. It's just,
No. Now you're the head guy, but they're the meat and bones of the whole operation.
well, they do good. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
That grant though, that's what scares me about that. That's supposed to be what, $1 million?
That was up there, yeah, around there.
Why do we need to hire a guy at 50,000 to run it though?
Well, they did that before when they had the
Why though?
the weed and seed program. That we remember Steph Chapman. I don't know if you remember Steph.
Yeah, but
You need somebody to head it.
well, how about we hire somebody at City Hall to administer all grants?
Yeah. What do you mean administer all grants?
Basically, the person, these grants usually come with a caveat
Yeah.
that you have to hire somebody to monitor them. So, I mean, 50,000 is a lot of money for the average person in Erie.
Yeah.
Do you realize, I'll put in perspective, that's only $1 million,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
You have people who are in charge of a lot more around here, making a lot less.
Yeah. Right. You for one of them.
Well, yeah. Well, I didn't want to point that out, but
I'll point it out.
I mean, even when you think about it, you think of the mayor and finance director in charge of the whole budget.
Yeah.
You prorate that amount of money, and I don't say it, even on the county level, the kind of money they're paying out there to administer EGRA money, come on.
Well, that's a joke.
100 and some thousand and education to boot.
Yeah. Well, see, they put a squash to that.
They what?
They put a squash to it.
Yeah, but it shouldn't even have been allowed to happen.
Listen,
John, people yell at City Hall about the salaries, okay? But, 50,000 to administer $1 million?
Yeah.
Come on, you gotta be doing a lot more than that to get that.
Yeah. Well, I think that would be a good job for somebody, but I think the neighborhood needs it. It's kind of like
Well, no, nobody's questioned that, but, if you're gonna administer grants like that, okay?
Yeah.
Then hire somebody to administer those grants.
What do you mean what do you mean?
Well, instead of, okay, this grant needs somebody's gonna get a $50,000 job.
Yeah.
Now, if we get another grant, we gotta have to hire somebody else?
Well, that would just be, that $50,000 would just go for somebody to run that program.
Well, yeah, but then you start thinking of how much money you spend hiring people just to administer programs. It's kind of waste of taxpayer money.
Well, somebody's got to do that program. Somebody that's got to know. I mean, if it's the same approach as.
Well, you're hiring somebody off the street.
Yeah, but it's got to be somebody that's done it before, that has an idea.
You know what? Hire somebody in. We have people in City Hall that are capable.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see.
And find somebody that's got some kind of skill level, like you're looking for at this grant.
Yeah.
And let them run all the grants. Okay.
Like somebody. I mean, why wouldn't just partner with Sisters of St. Joseph, and just have them involved, because they're over on the east side too now.
But you take $1 million, I don't know how long this grant is good for.
Right.
Now, are they gonna pay the person benefits? So that's not 50 no more. Now you're talking
Now you're
70,000.
Yeah. I don't think they'll get benefits. It would probably be a contractor and not a city employee. So there's no way, because that's not on a grant. There's no way they could give them benefits and pension and all that.
Well, I haven't seen a grant. Who pays it? Does it come out of the grant? Does it come out of?
Well, the money would for whoever they hire.
It's like the other day when that PFM said, oh, we need to hire somebody to monitor the financial department. Really? We got a financial director.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
See, that's another layer of PFM wanting to get their little grimy grits in there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
After they tell you what you should do. Right?
Yeah.
Now, they told you you should never spend one-time money on one-time problems.
Right.
What are they doing with the 90 million or now the 100 million?
Yeah, $100 million.
That's a one-time problem.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to say it's ongoing, but basically you're taking care of a problem that you created, which was the debt. And then you're probably going to create more debt going down the line.
Oh, you're gonna have to.
And then you're not going to have any income for 42 years.
I mean, eventually.
Remember that, right?
Yeah, 42 years. Eventually, you're gonna.
Or 40, whatever it is.
You're gonna need, some politicians not gonna want to raise taxes in an election year. See, whenever you really get taxes raised, it's usually in year 1 or 2 of somebody being in office. Then they'll raise taxes.
Well, council told them, and the majority agreed, that when you come to us next year, now I'm not going to be there, okay?
Yeah.
The hope was, and I remember Curtis was with me, a couple other council people were with me on this.
Uh-huh.
We suggested that, okay, you know your bills are going up every year. You can predict your wages because you negotiated contracts.
Yeah.
So you know what they're going to be.
Right.
You have a good idea that probably utilities are going up.
Yeah.
But when all this is said and done, then just raise taxes a little bit each year. I know that's ugly, right?
That
But I think people can live with that a lot better than
they'll scream.
waking up 4 years from now and getting whacked for 130 or 150.
Yeah, because the normal average citizen voter, they don't pay attention to that. All they hear are if they hear taxes have gone up every year that you've been the mayor,
Yeah.
you're toast.
But no, I don't think you are, and I'll tell you why. I've been watching them come over there. The thing that infuriates most of the people is it's 150 or it's 130 or it's 85. Okay? Every year the water goes up, or every year we give them a little fee increase, we don't get the screaming as much, okay?
Yeah.
People figure if they look at your water bill, your electric bill, your cable bill's been slipping up, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And people, they'll gripe a little bit, but it's understand what they don't like. And I really believe this, because we used to do it at the school district. We raise taxes a little bit each year. But it's when you do that, what you talked about, the off on, or let's wait 4 years.
Yeah.
Not in my administration.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, bam, you wake up in the morning and now you got 100, you got to come up with 100 some bucks.
Right. I mean, the city, we're losing population. Half of it is tax exempt.
But John, there's no.
How do you bridge the gap?
John, there's no way. Let me tell you this. And I talked to a legislator the other day.
Yeah.
Okay? I said, you gotta give third-class cities some relief. We can't tax hotel rooms. And neither can Pittsburgh, but they got away with it because they went belly up. Up to that,
Act
up
47.
to before that, the only city that could tax was Philadelphia. So the county can tax on rooms, we can't.
Right.
We can't charge a business tax. That went out the window years ago. There's very few fees we're allowed to charge.
Yeah.
We'll hold my thought.
Dang. I was wondering.
Okay, now you got per capita income is going down in the city.
Yeah.
The assessed value is flat, which means you're taxing on the same base because nobody knew was building.
Right.
is you got the problem of the tax exempts.
Please stop calling and hanging.
So, I mean, you factor all that in, the tax exempts, the whole problem.
Yeah,
The majority of your budget is wages and benefits,
right.
and the majority of that is public safety. It doesn't take a genius to figure out where you gotta make the cuts, right?
Interesting.
Try the hands-free next time. Oh, no, we can't.
I mean, this is what, right here, we've done it for the past 20 years. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, I've heard enough of this baloney.
Yeah.
What baloney?
Which baloney?
The baloney where I'm going to offer you a ham, and in the end, the taxpayer's going to get the wiener.
Well, one way or the other, John, the taxpayer always pays, you know that.
Oh, yeah.
But let me ask you a question, John. Would you rather have a little increase or a big one every 4 years?
Well, I'd rather have a little increase constantly
That's what
instead
I
of...
told John, you know, we told the mayor that. We said, and we had we suggested it highly, and we had a majority that agreed that, you know, come in with a little one every year, you know, you can live with that.
The sad part about it, he was the head of the financial department at the bank. He doesn't have a brain that's the size of a pea.
I think it's easier for people to come up with $10 or $15 than 180, you know?
Well, true, and you know, the whole thing here is, isn't this what got us in trouble to begin with? This water deal from when Tulio was taking the money to balance his budgets?
Yep, where we sold a golf course to balance a budget.
Yeah, and ran water lines up there and everything else?
Here's some suggestions I made. I said, you know, start looking at how you're gonna finance road repair. Don't float bond issues.
No, you can't float a bond issue for a road repair because a bond issue is supposed to be something that at least has a capital life of 25 years.
And that's what they see now. They're gonna. I asked him. I said, if we take this 90 or 100, now it's 100 million. You know, are you're still going to float bond issues? And the answer is yes. But now for 42 years, you got one less source of revenue, which is going to be the water reserve. I mean, the water revenue.
On the taxpayer, on that talk show with his buddy Scott Brebner and Steinhagen, who seem to be answering most of the mayor's questions that he doesn't even know the answers to. And he came out, he says he's going to buy fire trucks, repair some of the roads with this, if they sell the water department or lease it for $101 million. Geez, how could they come up with another 20 million real quick? They must want this pretty bad. And what does that mean to the individual customers? Is there going to be a line on how much they can raise? The water department or the water authority is already in the red for how many millions?
Yeah, just too much I hate looking 42 years in advance without money.
Yeah, right.
And then we already cut a deal that we can't come back at them probably.
Yeah, the water departments, they're already in the red, and then they're going to give us 100 million.
Well, what they plan on doing is they plan on floating a bond issue.
Another one, huh?
Right,
And
and
then-
then they're going to wrap the customer.
And then they're gonna make the payments out of the bond issue like a payment every
And
year.
then all of us are going to pay it.
Absolutely. Well,
So
that means,
we're going to pay for them to make that purchase or get, the 100 million, and then we're going to end up paying for it anyway.
but they'll tell you it's all revenue neutral.
So why not just raise taxes a little bit?
They'll
and
tell you,
keep
they'll tell you it's all revenue neutral.
I don't know.
It's not revenue neutral.
What I told him, John was, I said, instead of floating a bond issue, I mean, this is gonna cause pain, and I'm not on council, but I said it when I was on there. Have a tax on the roads dedicated by ordinance. The money can only go into road repair. And just every year put a percentage of, this money into that, instead of having a bond issue with interest and what do you call it, debt payments and interest for how many years, right?
Yeah, but the only problem with that is that every politician, though, they keep putting their hands in the kid.
No, if you do it
cookie
by
jar.
ordinance and you say you're dedicating a mill of taxes or whatever,
Yeah, and-
strictly to road repair
Yeah.
by ordinance. In other words, you can't touch it.
And then they do, what's that called, where you try to change it?
To the road repair. It's just like the county with their, what is it, their $5 fee on your registration.
Yeah.
I mean, where's that money going? Is there anyone who knows where the money is dedicated to? It's supposed to be for roads and bridges in the county.
Well, you'd have to have you could go over there and find out, but it would take, somebody's got to have a lot of free time. But I'm sure the auditors look at that, though.
Oh yes, I mean this money's coming from the whole of Erie County.
Yeah.
I'm sure there must be a pretty large sum by now. I haven't heard of any money going to do repair for any roads or bridges in the county.
Uh,
Not even unless they like parcel out the money to different, political entities.
I mean, John, that's a perfect example as to why,
How can they justify giving the director a 36% increase in salary? What's he doing there besides doing nothing but writing out checks?
Oh, you're talking about the Egra guy?
The
Yeah.
gaming authority.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But I was telling John, I heard today, if I heard right, they want to hire somebody to administer a $1 million fund or so, a $50,000 salary. Did you hear that on the radio?
No, I didn't hear that.
I hope I heard it wrong. I hope I heard it wrong.
I think to go back to what you were saying about Egra, I think if they do agree to that, they will disband them. They were this close to being disbanded already. I think they do, he does do a good job. I think he's leveraged some of our money, and he has made some good business decisions. But for that kind of salary,
Doesn't he have a board?
yeah, they're the one, but he.
Well, he has someone down there. What are they doing? Like an advocate down there, paying him so much money a month.
Well, some of the board, they just, they go right along with what he says.
Well,
It's all. Listen, it's bad. It's just.
that's how we got stuck with fluoride.
Yeah.
You know who's on my boards?
Who's on your boards?
Board.
Here's one right here.
John's on your board.
He was on one of them, right, John?
Yeah.
You know why I put him on there?
Because he's honest.
Well, because he doesn't say yes.
He's not a yes man.
You have to convince him to say yes first.
Yeah. I mean, they try to stack people on their boards that go along with what they want to do.
I gave the mayor ideas how he could save $1 million a year, and that's get rid of the garbage refuse department. You got waste management. They have one guy running their truck, and it has two bins, one for garbage and one for recyclable. And you put out your container where they can, with the automatic arm, can come in and pick it up, and they dump it accordingly. They got a blue container and like a gray container for garbage, and that would save a lot of money.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but the guys that actually pick up the garbage, they make peanuts.
Right. And it would cut down on your tipping fees. The city picks up the garbage, takes it to a place, and they supposedly are sorted.
Yeah, they do.
And then it goes back up to the landfill, and you're paying that fee. You're paying a double fee.
Well, the thing is, though, what you don't know is that if they ever try to bid it out again, they're going to have to pay a tipping fee too, though.
Well, true.
And
But they wouldn't have to pay it twice.
what you don't know is, there's history that says they don't always stay to their word either.
Yeah, I mean, what scares me about outsourcing is you can't control costs.
Just like Joyce when she got rid of our incinerator down on 12th and Westler.
Yeah.
I mean, she got a few compactors from the state. Remember they had the blue ones?
Yeah.
And they were giving money to people for recycling properly. They had that deal where they $25 or whatever if they saw you were recycling. The sad part about that, the majority of people that got that money were city employees. You don't remember that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, I can go way back. I can go all the way back to when they wanted to put that mall in down there and got rid of all our businesses, and they had the whole shots.
Yep, that was a failed venture, but
That wasn't a failed venture. What was that, Tulio's deal?
yeah, the trouble was that they didn't have the merchants on board.
No, they had the labor hall on board.
Yeah, I mean, what they needed to do, they do it in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, but the merchants go along with it there,
Well, true, but then they have the people who have parking and everything else, and they can do the shopping.
Well, we had the parking, but nobody came up with a plan. Like in Erie, people still wanted to park in front of the stores. And they needed to work a plan they needed time to make the plan work, but they just rolled it out and it failed,
Sure, that's just like the underground, where the city took over the underground from Penelec. Boy, Penelec loved that.
That worked out good for who, you?
Well, yeah, they got a nice little pension and everything.
Yeah, I think what they need to do is when they come up with these novel ideas, you have to have a rollout period where people understand what's going to happen.
Well, true, that's the whole thing. Just like down there where they want that market down there, that was in the plans in the 80s, and that went belly up.
Which one's that?
The one where they wanted to have the little shops downtown. Penelec was spearheading that.
Oh, you mean down by the dock or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like the plan they got now for GAF. They haven't had much movement on that one.
No, nobody wants to come in because they know once you get down too far, all the liquors are going to come out. You're going to get down into the water table, and you have that continental divide involved in there. There's all kinds of stuff that people don't realize are there. But you have your planners down there, and they make it look like a bed of roses till they come in and go over it and see what it involves, and then say, no way, we're not going to put our money in it, and that's what you have.
Well, on some good news, I hope that hotel at 18th Street gets developed, but
I was just
Yes, that was a great deal way back when. In fact, we used to hold meetings there way back when, and then we'd go across the street to Barbados for a little refreshments and a slice of pizza after our meetings.
yeah, there's a place I miss, but it'll be interesting where that's going to be they paid $1 million for it, I think.
$1 million isn't hardly going to do anything.
Well, that's just what they paid for the building, but you and I both know it's going to take quite a bit to put that back in the shape it was.
Well, that's what they said they were going to do with the, with the Lerda
Building
base.
right around the corner there that they sold too.
Which one's that?
The one the city was going to buy, by the parking area, where they were renting out to one of the departments.
Which one was that?
Oh, where was that? On 8th Street there? On the southwest corner?
Of 8th Street?
Yeah. There was a building there. I don't recall whose name it was, but they were renting it out to the city, I believe, or one of the outfits.
Oh, we had one over here at 7th Street on Peach for a while.
7th and Peach. Maybe it was 7th and Peach.
Yeah, Gannon's got that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the old LCBA building.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, because we had our vice units in there, and some of the state, those special police units were in there.
True. It's just like, what's going to happen to that Lord property now? They give them all that wonderful stuff, and bang, now it's up for sale.
Which one's that?
Lord's property.
Ooh. Now, Lords is supposed to have been bought, I heard.
Yep.
Did you hear that too?
Yep.
I wonder who got it.
That's it. It's under the table. So, too much money under the table that nobody doesn't know a thing about. I guess it's time to raise more service taxes.
Well, those aren't a bad idea, John. I'll tell you why. Now, just listen to me out before you jump on me. The way they're supposed to work is you take them out of the general budget and you charge a fee. Now, if you charge a fee, everybody, including the nonprofits, has to pay.
Absolutely.
But what you can't do is take them out of the general budget and figure this is a way to, up everybody's salary. Like, I'll give you an example. We could take the police and fire out of the general budget if we're allowed to. And
In a service budget.
I had the solicitor looking into it just before I left. And the thing would be, we would take it out of the general budget, and you know how much it's gonna be.
Yes.
So all you do is you take it out, and instead of taxing that on the taxpayers only, you apply it as a fee and everybody.
Service charge, right.
Right, so people would have to understand that, yeah, it's not, you're not being taxed, it's a separate fee, but in effect, it should be easier on the average taxpayer, because it would be spread out over a larger base.
That's what they do in Florida. You get a service charge for lights, service charge for runoff water.
And as long as you don't make a mockery out of it, it may look like you're paying more, but you actually be paying less.
Right, in the long run, you are paying less.
Yeah, because you're spreading it out over every property owner, not just every taxable property owner.
That's true. So, well, we'll get off. If nobody calls, I'll call back.
Okay,
Thanks, John.
what are you gonna talk about, the hotel?
Yeah, I saw somebody bought, and they said they were gonna, use the LERTA savings.
Well, it would be
Put money
eligible.
into it.
The thing is, though, it's gonna take there's where we got ripped for, people said, oh, LERTA's a bad idea. But if you look at that building, it's not gonna be a cheap date.
No,
And without
that
LERTA,
building is ugly.
without LERTA, huh?
It's ugly.
Well, you gotta look at it was built at its time.
Yeah, in the 70s, ugly.
Right. So if you look at it, and you look at it from, who would wanna buy it without some kind of benefit? I mean, you're looking at buying that building and then
Yeah.
putting money into it.
What's a perfect example of how LERTA does work?
And you know what? We don't know if John, I don't know if it's gonna work out, but you know what?
Right.
It's a lot closer to working out because of LERTA.
It has a chance to work out, because without LERTA, it was just rotting away.
Now they can take whatever money they spend,
Yeah,
at least for 10 years, they don't have to worry about the tax bill on it.
right. A lot of these businesses, they don't want to tell what they're gonna do. The best businessmen and the less people know, the better. Because everybody has their hand out, everybody's, gonna
Yeah.
try to,
And you know what? There's some grants probably available for them, or small business loans.
sure,
And they get mad at like Nick Scott, and I said, at the end of the day though, Nick Scott, unlike the 2 hotels the county owns,
yeah, pays taxes.
and so does Tom Kennedy.
I mean, it seems like that hotel down there is taking a very long time.
What, Nick Scott's?
Yeah, it's like, because I drive down there regularly. I usually go down
Yeah.
there and just drive around and check.
Well, I
out.
think they're working more, on the outside it looks nice.
I mean, it looks nice, but it's like they're not working at night. Or the weekends. I think it's just a 9 to 5.
Well, John, one thing you find out when Nick pointed this out, when it's your dime,
Yeah,
okay, you gotta watch your costs.
yeah. But if I was getting, is he getting alert on that?
No, I don't, that was before LERTA.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's different. Because if
But
he was getting alert, I would want that thing up and
don't
running
quote me, but I
as
think,
soon as possible.
I think he was before LERTA.
Yeah, because I don't see people working in there.
But even if he did have LERTA, like the county, when they built it, that was on county people's dime, right? So they're working around the clock, but when you're a private investor,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
Do you wanna pay overtime?
No, you don't.
There's a how much more,
Cost reward.
how much more money am I gonna make opening it up earlier?
Yeah, I saw that the consultant said spend, control employee costs and
We're
generate
here?
more revenue. Yeah, that was the headline. Really? Thanks for telling us.
How are they gonna, what did they want us to do?
Control employee pension and costs and raise revenue.
Well, yeah, I mean, good.
That was the headline. I'm like, okay. I mean,
How do
paid
we
you-
do it?
We paid you to tell us that.
Well, we have taken steps with the pensions, okay?
Yeah.
But they're like, they come in here,
Are you still on the pension board?
no, not, because I'm not, there's no provision for the treasurer. There is for the controller
Right.
and council members
Right.
and the mayor, but not the treasurer.
Okay.
I would like to be on there, but
Right.
I will tell you this, they have made the necessary some changes, which are gonna be painful but necessary. The problem is, you know, when you see new council people come in or you hear these advisors, trying to negotiate pensions out of existence are tough. The only way the Commonwealth did it was they took over them all, remember? The teachers and the state police?
Yeah.
But when they're negotiated and nobody sees a problem, you just can't, you can't come in and order people to do things, you know?
Right.
Not unless you're in dire financial difficulty. I mean, you're like, I think if you're in Act 47 or something, that can happen. But as far as trying to negotiate with unions and saying, we're gonna drop you down to a 401, that's not gonna happen. Not easy.
I mean, none of these unions want the Act 47 to hit Erie.
No, because they know that at that point, I think everything that's in place stays. I never found out perfectly, but my understanding was that everything that's possible stays until the termination of it. In other words, the termination of a labor agreement. And then after that, everything forward can be changed. You can say that all new employees will have a 401.
Right.
And that's the you know, in the future, that'll be the conversation. But when you watch how the market tumbled today,
Yeah.
do you think anybody's really gonna want to go into a 401?
No, not people that get their sweet little pension.
Of course, then there's the other side of the ledger. It's not fair to people who don't have a pension to finance pension funds that,
Yeah, right.
and the big thing, John, I'll say, we were talking earlier about all the issues with the city, the declining population, the stagnant assessed value, because that's what their taxes are based on. So, you know, if you can't increase your assessed value, that's a way you can raise taxes, not hurt anybody. Because what you're doing, you're adding, like Mill Creek is, you're adding more people. But when you're stagnant in growth, and then you got the tax exempt starting to knock off the assessed value, now you're taxing less people, and you got things that can't go away. You can't let police and fire go away.
If we reassessed, we'd probably lose money, right? Because assessed was.
There's a good chance you might, yes. Of course, you don't know, like, you can bet that a lot of these companies that are building new buildings, they're gonna ask for reassessment.
Erie Insurance.
Yeah, they will probably.
Yeah, right.
But I was looking at, there's 13 pilots, that's all we got. Of the nonprofits, there's only 13 that have agreed to pay us.
Who were the biggest omissions?
Hammond and Vincent. Oh, biggest omissions?
Yeah,
They may give us money, but not a guaranteed amount.
yeah,
Let me be fair with that thing,
yeah.
okay? In other words, I'll give you an example. Out of Hammond, we get a little over $500,000 a year.
Okay,
Okay, that's on their assessed property. Vincent is a little bit less, about 400,000. Okay, now here's the big giants that are out of the window. Now, we do get some out of Luther Square, they pay us.
oh, really?
Yeah, they got a pilot. Most of the pilots are 50%, there's one at 35, okay?
Yeah,
Okay, the big omissions. Mercyhurst,
Gannon.
which has a lot of property, Diocese of Erie, Lecom. Of course, you got all the other things like, your various hospitals, federal level and all that, you know. It's, you know, the school district, all them, they're all tax exempt. But you know, of the ones that aggravate people, you know, Gannon, Mercyhurst is right up there.
Yeah.
Lecom.
Those places have, I mean, they do, but the only paid, not, that is disgusting.
Yeah, and then you got, you look at the Civic Center, you look at the, Port Authority, all of them, you know.
Right,
They do good, but it would be nice to have a contribution on a regular basis.
I mean, you have to stop putting, I've been saying this for 25 years, I've been on this show off and on. Seems like, stop putting your non-taxable entities on your most taxable property.
How about the Park
It's
Authority?
just,
We had to fight.
common sense.
The Park
I guess.
Authority is
I
one of
don't
the
know.
few
I
that
guess
give us
it's
money.
a
We had
lot.
to fight for that, remember?
Well, you change your board. Everybody wants new boards. Everybody wants fresh blood. We need to just get just and then, but then again, sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
But, the city for years has given away everything too, like, everybody got mad when we taxed Roar on the Shore, but who's gonna pay for that? Okay? He found out when they went on the county, they didn't give him a free ride.
I saw that Harley Davidson, they're going to expand
Where are they going to?
what they did last year. The Bike Fest 2000.
Well, the one that came to Erie, the Gears and Grubs,
Yeah.
they paid and kept their mouth shut.
I rode by here.
I tell you, that was nice, okay?
Yeah. They paid and kept their mouths shut.
Well, what I mean is you didn't hear any griping in the
Yeah,
paper.
right.
They paid their fair share. They volunteered to pay.
I wonder how that'll go now that the Roar on the Shore is kaput. With Ralph being gone. And
Yeah.
I wonder if everybody will return back town for Bike Fest. It's just the Roar on the Shore was a really good thing, but
But for some people, John,
we shouldn't have had to pay.
for some people,
I follow you. I
Okay.
agree with what you're saying. I mean, it was a good thing, but for the people that didn't use it and had to pay,
or for the people that their business was shut down,
I mean, anybody that knows Ralph made a lot of money on that.
and a lot of businesses on State Street that didn't sell beer didn't make out, okay?
Right. And then they started bringing in out of town vendors, and then it started to get a little out of hand.
I remember one year Lou Tullio started Celebrate Erie.
Yeah.
It went all the way up to 12th Street. Do you remember that?
I remember when they had rides. I used to come down here as a
All the way
kid.
up to 12th Street.
Yeah.
And then the merchants go, hey, wait, whoa. And then they took time, they consolidated it,
Yeah.
and actually made it better for the people because you didn't have to walk, 12 blocks from one end of the dock to,
I remember when they used to have the stage on the dock.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
that was, I honestly, I liked that because with the boats out there. And
But the only
water-
problem was it was very limited.
What was?
The ability to get people in there,
Well, you're going up and down that hill.
Well, not only that, but the area was limited. And then you had a problem with, there's always the danger somebody's gonna get tossed over the dock.
Well, I mean, there's dangers in anything.
Well, yeah, but I think when they looked at the whole situation down there, and you probably had the hospitals down there and that wasn't a good idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, where it is at now is pretty nice too. Where it's at right now.
Well, I think it was a
where
lot
the
better when
stage
they
is.
moved it up
But
there.
I liked it when they had the carnival atmosphere. You had the rides for the kids. I used to win. Throw darts.
See, and I'm gonna disagree with that. It was good, but then it got kind of sleazy.
What do you mean? Sleazy as in the people running the carnivals, or
Yeah, that too.
was it? See, no, I didn't know that.
I had an incident down there one year that was not pleasant.
You were a little more. See, back then I was young. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
didn't really
you were
pay-
looking at from there. I was a
Yeah, I
father.
didn't pay attention.
I was a
to that.
father who didn't like the way my daughter was treated.
Oh, really? Did they get a little bit of Kaz attitude or what?
No, it got an attitude that the police had to come in
Really? Wow.
because these carny people are not
No, they're not.
they're not the smoothest.
No. If you got a pulse and you can work at a carnival pretty much.
Off the air, I'll tell you what happened, and it was
Okay.
nothing that anybody did. It was just
Yeah.
it was the way they their language and everything else.
I wonder why we did actually get away from the carnival atmosphere.
There's a lot of people complained it was too cheesy.
Cheesy?
Yeah, and then they wanted more local people involved. See, when the carnivals come in, they bring their own food people.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
People would say, hey, where's John's ice cream? Where's Connie's ice cream?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Where's the churches that used to sell the stuff, or the service clubs like the Mazzini or the Elks Club or
See, like-
the Moose Club or whoever was doing it? Remember in those days?
Yeah,
In
now-
the churches and all that?
Yeah, now this whole side is for local stuff, isn't it? Vendors?
I haven't been to one lately, but
Yeah, I go down there.
But I think, anytime you use local people, especially like your service clubs, your churches, your groups,
Yeah.
Like you wanna have veterans groups, somebody sells stuff.
Yeah.
If they can get their food license, they should be able to do it,
Right. You know, it's just,
Or local restaurants, you have a little guy come, like I used to always laugh, they kick Ernie out,
yeah.
They kick Ernie's hot dogs out and everybody else, and
I don't, you have to keep it local too. It needs to be a combination of local and, I don't know. What do I
Yeah.
know? I'm old now.
well, no, you look at things different as you get older, but I think you can have a balance, but I think for a while it got way overboard, and people are looking at like, well, this ain't celebrating Erie, this is just a damn carnival,
Right.
I think it's better when you have, and I like the way, like you have the Hispanic Council come in, you have some of your other immigrants, you have the arts people come in,
Right.
you showcase things in Erie,
Yeah.
and showcase Erie things,
Usually,
That's what,
every year I volunteered.
if you want a carnival, go out to, there's enough of them all year,
Yeah, I worked I volunteered at the beer tent. I can't remember exactly for what cause, but, I usually come in and do it for a couple hours on Saturday.
It's like I do it for the Zababa once
Oh yeah, I did that too, yeah.
yeah, and that's kind of fun because
German Fest.
you meet a lot of people, and
Yeah. Oh, Zababa, I like Zababa. I think that's a great festival.
yeah, you have fun with the beer there because,
Yeah. Then you get out there and do the polka, and
but
polka's harder than it looks.
yeah, but it's for a good cause. I don't mind that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like a lot of people get upset, but
I was at a gun raffle yesterday at the Rainbow Gardens I was really sad to see that the boys baseball of Erie finally.
hey, here's an interesting thing. What happened there? Do you know?
I think it's a combination of a bunch of things.
Can it be saved,
I don't know.
or is it just a
Steve,
lack of kids playing?
it's a combination of kids not playing, travel baseball.
What do you mean travel?
Well, like yesterday, the event that I was in, it was for the Outlaw Traveling Baseball Program.
Okay, but like boys baseball was strictly non-travel.
Correct.
It was designed to be.
Correct.
I remember the big thing was it was not Little League. We didn't go to the National World Series. There were to be no awards given out. Okay,
Right.
that was a big thing too. No awards. Youth umpires.
Right.
Okay, everything was going to be kids with adult supervision.
Right.
Everybody was supposed to have a good time. But that time there was no girls allowed. But that was then. Okay. But it was a good program. You went to your field. You played there was no national champion, no city champion.
Right.
It was designed to be as low key as possible. Everybody had a good time. Everybody had to play, well, up to a certain level. So, is there any hope of saving it, John, or is it dead?
It's gone.
Why?
They just don't have the kids. They don't have the parent volunteers, and mostly because they don't have enough kids. I mean, they had to involve
Well,
girls.
I can tell you what I think one of the problems is with volunteers. Just for me to go with my grandson,
You have to get the Act 33, 34 clearance.
and that was with Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Just to go on a camp out with him, not to be even a,
Yeah, right.
I
mean, that's the huge thing, and that's the elephant.
I had to go on site, take a video course. Some of the stuff was waived, but others you had to pay.
Right.
Okay. That's the elephant in the room, number one.
Yeah.
Of course, today, you probably have a lot of, I did notice, like even where my grandson was playing, there's a lack of coaches everywhere.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't want to get involved because parents are. I remember I volunteered and coached when my son was younger.
Yeah.
And it was a pain.
I probably would.
Not even with the kids were fine. It was moms and dads.
Well, I probably would like to do it. I really would.
Yeah.
I was thinking, there's a program that Major League Baseball has. This is why I asked you this, but you don't think you think it's beyond saving?
Yeah. I think Franklin's done with it too. I think he's.
Well, Steve, let me tell you this. Steve done a hell of a lot of work on it.
Yeah, he did. He put a lot of years and a lot of time. I tell you, back in the when I played in the 70s, you had 1B, 2B, 3B senior league. Yeah, I mean,
And you know what? We actually, this is sad. I can remember when, well, we didn't have 1B, we had 2B.
yeah,
I don't remember 1B.
yeah. 1B I think is 8 and 9.
Well, when we started out, we didn't have no ball in the tee. So 2B
No, we
was,
never had T-ball.
2B was pitching from the mound
Yeah,
and, 9 and all that stuff. 9 men on the field, everything.
yeah,
But I can remember we had tryouts.
yeah,
And I can remember sitting at home at night, just like it was a draft.
yeah.
And you were waiting for the phone to ring and you hear your dad going, he'd come upstairs and he'd go, did I make it?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. What you do is you'd have to put a number. You have to wear a number,
Yeah.
like the NFL Combine, and you would go, and all the coaches.
Well, they'd be hitting fungos to you out
Yeah,
and he had run bases and
they
everything.
were literally tryouts.
Yeah, and the coaches would sit there going,
Yeah,
watching how you bat, right?
It was like the NFL Combine.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have numbers.
And then you go home at night and you're going, you hear that phone ring.
Yeah,
Is that? My dad said, no, it's not for you.
yeah. I mean, those were you had 1B, 2B, 3B on the east side and the west side.
And then remember, it was like if you didn't make a team,
Yeah.
it'd be a long, hot summer for you.
Yeah,
Because everybody else would be going to practice after
most
dinner.
people would make the team. They tried not to, leave.
But there were a few that didn't,
Yeah,
But can you imagine? We actually had, it was that competitive
Tryouts.
that you actually could maybe not make the team.
yeah, yeah. I mean, those were. I mean, yeah.
And now they'd be looking for bodies just to fill.
Then then they started what was known as Legion Ball. What was kids that were the best from each league. They'd put. It was kind of like an all-star team, and then we would travel around to other all-star.
I remember we'd go to, the biggest thing we did, we might, once a year, we went to Mill Creek.
Yeah, we played there. And then
And we go out there and play on one of their fields.
Harbor Creek.
Yeah, but what's crazy was, here's probably the big difference. We didn't have little gritters or bayfront football or any of that. We didn't have, the spoon league
Right.
or any kind of basketball.
Yeah.
No hockey, no soccer.
Right.
So, I mean, for us, it was a baseball world. And our dads all love baseball,
Before we go off the air, for the replays, I just wanted to give my condolences to the Faust family. Paul Faust, great guy. I mean, I've known Paul for a very long time. Speaking of baseball, that's why I just started thinking about him.
Well,
It's his passing away was
when I would walk up the stairs of, the ballpark.
Seawolves.
Yeah.
Paul loves the Seawolves, and
He would sit there and he'd go, we had this game.
yeah. Paul was legendary in the baseball community area.
We played a game, him and I, about who could come up with a name of a player that the other one didn't know,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
And the first one he pulled on me was a guy named Celerino Sanchez.
Celerino Sanchez.
If you ever see Kyle,
Yeah. Yeah.
ask him, say, what was it with Celerino Sanchez? And he'll laugh his head off, okay? So I would give Paul somebody like Zach Monroe or Paul Twillinger or something.
Dick Deep.
He go, I think I got that one,
Yeah.
So him and I had this game. We come up with like 2 or 3 players a game that
Yeah.
no one else.
Right.
And the rule was you couldn't sit home and study it.
Paul did a lot for, I served on him on the Barber Center, City County All-Star Game, and helped raise money for a few years. I sat on that committee.
He only had one problem though.
What's that?
He was a Yankee fan.
That's the only negative about it.
Yeah, I used to tell him that and he'd get mad at me.
Yeah. I saw him about a month ago when Fiore retired, and he was okay, but you could tell that he was starting to slow down a little bit, and he was a really great guy.
He liked baseball. He did like
He
baseball.
loved baseball.
But he's a product of our generation where that was our big game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Football
was great, but baseball ruled.
America's pastime. Baseball season's up and running, so spring training, it starts earlier this
Well,
year.
let's hope miracles happen and we keep the Seawolves.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not our fault though.
No.
You know,
This commissioner in Major League Baseball needs to have his head examined.
well, I'm mad at him for a lot of reasons.
He
okay?
let the Astros cheated, they get away with it. He refers to the trophy as just a piece of metal.
And then he tells the Indians they got rid of their.
There's another thing, and now he's just trying to just destroy baseball in these smaller cities.
What do you come up with?
How much money could they actually be losing? Sometimes you have to spend a little money
And cutting
to
money-
make a lot of money. See, they have the same mentality that we as a city have. Spend a little to make a lot, but we did do that.
But cutting minor league baseball?
I know you want more. The more people, the more leagues that you have in these smaller cities, the more interest you have in.
Well, it's like, what's our bragging point? Verlander and Granderson played here. But if you go back to people my age, we go back even further. There were many players that almost played here or did play here.
Yeah.
And you can say, hey, you know what? I saw them when they were nothing.
It would be a shame if we put $15 million into that stadium and they pulled the team. I don't know how you could pull a AA team out of a market when they Florida. They have these single A Gulf Coast league, and they have so many. And these teams already, these Gulf Coast teams, these other single A, they play in the stadiums that these guys are spring training in now. So it's kind of like they use these facilities to like all year round.
Yeah.
And it takes away from smaller cities like ours that actually rely on it for some revenue. And so if they don't make $billion on it, sometimes you have to spend a little to make a lot.
We got a new owner, the Hispanic guy.
Uh-huh.
And he seems like he loves the game. He's happy.
Yeah.
But Major League Baseball's hosing him. Okay.
Yeah.
And, to a lot of fans, they get a kick out of going down there.
Yeah.
And seeing some kid, like I go down there and watch the Indians.
Yeah.
The Akron team.
Yeah.
And I go, hey, you know what? This guy might be in the, and here's a chance to talk to the guy before you have no chance at all, probably.
People don't realize the AA. We see the guy like
in some ways it's better than AAA.
This year we had Casey Mize, we had Manning, and we had somebody else I can't remember.
In the case of
these are going to be Detroit's pitchers.
Well, and usually in the case of the pitchers, lately it's been AA's been better than AAA.
Yeah.
Because if they got any kind of like Verlander,
yeah,
they didn't want him spending too much time.
Right. They usually they come here for a year, then they go to AAA for a cup of coffee, and then a boom.
Because if they got a live arm, they're not going to waste time down here.
No, because the way everybody's arm's been like falling off lately.
Well, I think there's a study been made that if the arm's live and you can work with them up there, take them up there, right?
Yeah. Well, Cass.
See you next week?
It's too nice out. We got to get out of this.
We can see you next week?
Probably, yeah. We got to get our callers to call back.
Well, you know what? We were off, so we got to get it back.
Yeah, people, they're like...
I got to spread the word a little bit.
Yeah, so... All right, Cass, we're out of here. Mike, whenever you're ready.
Play that Happy Trails, Mike. I think being off the air hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
You have been watching Taxpayers Hotline, recorded live from the fabulous city of Erie, Pennsylvania.